Welcome to the How to Life podcast by LifeWorks, a modern day advice column for young adults.
where we answer your questions on how
To
life.
Hi, guys, welcome to our first episode. Today's question is how to not let your family get under your skin. Ooh. This is a really great first question. Also, thank you to everybody who submitted questions for our podcast. I think we first have to start off by understanding, what does getting under your skin mean? I think it can mean a lot of different things to different people. My initial thought to that is getting under your skin with family looks like butting heads, those little disagreements that arise. What does getting under your skin mean to you?
For me, getting under your skin is a lot more. It's more than skin deep. I think. I think when we say that, for me, it's not so much the day to day disagreements. It's more of the things that really rock you to your core, or just really, poke you in those sensitive areas that you don't like as much as possible. You don't want to ever have to encounter, and sometimes no one knows how to press your button, so to speak, like your family members. And so for that, that's why I think getting on your skin is a little bit more of a serious type of thing. So
Okay, yeah. So I think we kind of have two different ends of the spectrum here. And what's perfect about that is that when we think of family, family is so complex. Everybody's family is different. It's you're born into the family that you're born into, and that comes with so many different personalities, that comes with so many different circumstances, environments, and with that, I think we need to keep in mind that, we can only speak to our personal experiences with our family, but I think what I love about these conversations as well is that there's always going to be overarching themes and ways to navigate circumstances that I think we can all relate to and hopefully, find guidance through. And so when we talk about, I guess, one end of the spectrum that I'm sort of thinking more on that day-to-day butting heads, when I think about the question how to not let your family get under your skin in that regard, I think it really comes down to a matter of expectations. When I hear that, I'm thinking I never want I want to reach a point where my family doesn't get under my skin, where we're smooth sailing, I'm cool as a cucumber. That's when I feel like I've reached success within these relationships or within this dynamic. And to me, I think maybe even at one point, I maybe aspired to that. But now, after so many life experiences, I've realized that it was actually me needing to adjust my expectations. And sometimes you're comparing yourself over time to other people's families or maybe what you're seeing on TV, maybe what people just want you to see on social media. I think all of those things come into consideration that form these expectations of what is my family dynamic supposed to look like, and why can't it be like that, or why isn't it like this? And the answer is that your family is unique to you. We're human, and you're going to need to navigate what those compatibilities look like. And sometimes the reality is that you're not that compatible with some people in your family, or maybe relationships just look a little different because everybody is doing their best with what they've got. That's the reality. And especially when it comes to parental relationships, that is what has helped me the most, understanding that we all made the best decisions that we could in that time. That is how we navigate life as humans. And with everybody's different backgrounds, you just have to accept each individual in your life for who they are. It goes further, and I think maybe Tay will go into it a little bit deeper of what it looks like to potentially, set really hard boundaries, maybe even not have a relationship for some people. Like, you have to decide for yourself what's healthy. for you. But for me, that's the biggest thing. Accepting your family for who they are as individuals. Not having this overarching expectation that like, oh, with the white picket fence and we all need to be happy all the time. They never get under my skin. That's not realistic. In every relationship, especially in adulthood, those little bumps and getting over those humps together is actually what makes your relationship stronger. And so if you didn't have those, there wouldn't be those opportunities. So I think for me, it's partially adjusting expectations in those situations, really taking a step back and checking in with yourself. Like, do I have any here? Am I bringing that to the table? Is that fair? Is that serving me?
Yeah, I think you talked about a lot of important parts of it. And one thing that came up in the last part of what you were talking about for me was, you know, describing these instances of getting under your skin as little bumps in the road.
Mm.
Um, and since my perspective is it's a little bit deeper, sometimes we can have an overreaction to feeling like things are getting under our skin for more or less what seem like innocuous comments or conversations or opinions that your family members are sharing that make you that
Mm.
get under your skin, quote unquote, to that lesser degree. But I might view that as maybe a symptom of a deeper issue, where it's more those types of little bumps are getting under your skin, not for the actual situation itself, for that little thing, like if it's like taking out the trash, like more day-to-day mundane issues that are kind of really seeming to affect you. That just might be the straw that's breaking the camel's back in the way that you're feeling about your relationship as a whole with that family member. And it's really just those kind of minor quote unquote things that are getting under your skin and really affecting you, because it's not the thing itself, but really just a symptom of the larger issues, kind of affecting your relationship with that family member. Um, so I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think both of our perspectives on what it means to get under your skin are interrelated in that way.
Mm.
Um, and so for mine, it's when I took a lot of time to navigate the family dynamics that I have in my life. Um, and it's not to say I haven't, experienced exactly what we were just describing with blowouts, so to speak, for kind of mundane things. But then again, that being kind of realizing that it's a symptom of a bigger issue. It's separating that from other instances and other dynamics within my, larger family that kind of go beyond the scope of just butting heads. And it's really just at its core, like fundamental differences, irreconcilable in a lot of cases. Because as much as we would want to and idealize having a harmonious relationship with everyone in our lives, the fact remains that, you know not everyone is blessed with the best people in their lives, and sometimes, just like tending to the garden of your life, there are times when you need to prune, when you need to, for the sake and the health of your other relationships, so it's not affecting the good relationships. You do have to make those tough choices about how to set boundaries, to stick to them, and to enforce them in a way. People will habitually line step and encroach, and it'll really get under your skin when they do these behaviors or say these things that have shown you that you really can't, you know, can't help or improve the relationship. Um, there are certainly instances in my life where you want to give the person, you keep giving them rope every time, you keep giving them slack. When they get under your skin, you hope that they'll learn and they'll get better. Um, but a good piece of advice that I heard that I've really tried to take to heart over the last few years is when people show you who they are, listen.
Mm.
And if they've shown you time and time and time and time again that you express these boundaries and they break them, they get under your skin to a greater degree, you have to listen, you have to accept them for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to accept that that's unacceptable, for who you are and for who you want to be and how you want your life to be, how to life.
Mm.
Um, and sometimes that boundary is a great wall, and sometimes those boundaries are just a little line in the sand.
Mm.
Um, and you have to kind of make that decision depending on the specific dynamic of the family members. But I can speak to all ranges in only from my own personal experience that I've also had those to the greater degree where sometimes the only way to manage your expectations is to, accept that some people don't change. Um, wishing them the best, hoping that they will someday, um, improve. And not to say that we're perfect, working on
Mhm.
things every day, but at least having the awareness and putting in the effort to change and to improve themselves. But sometimes you got to just let people take that journey, in a place a little bit farther away from your garden, from your life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my perspective on not letting family get under your skin, really taking a step back, looking at the specific situation that has quote unquote got under your skin,
Mhm.
what it was really about.
Mm.
Ask yourself, what was it really about? Um, was I also, reacting um, vigorously to the situation? And even you might catch yourself feeling like, why am I getting so agitated and pulled into the situation? And asking yourself, is this just because of this instance, or is it because of something else that they've done or continue to do? Um, and maybe you're not able to have those conversations. Maybe you're not able to accept them for who they are, or manage your expectations about who that person is to
Mm.
accept to accept who they are, um, as well as not maybe having the capacity to set those boundaries and test whether they can respect your boundaries and change.
I love that. I think we're touching on something really important, which is, well, maybe two things. Reaffirming that family and these situations are such a spectrum, and also that they're fluid, that maybe it starts as a line in the sand, and if that habitual boundary crossing continues, it becomes a wall. Or maybe it's the other way around, that hey, right now I have no capacity. I just need space for a hot minute, and we're both going to need to respect that. Your answer does not dictate what my boundary looks like, right? And so I think we'll have a whole probably episode just around really defining what boundaries look like and what these conversations look like, because it's hard. They're never going to get easier, but with practice you understand what that looks like for you, and really it's a matter of you sticking your feet in the ground and saying, no, this is where I stand. I know how this makes me feel. This is what my values are, and that's not going to change. And sort of figuring out what those walls or lines look like around that, right? Building around that, not based on what this person is saying, pushing back on, just being really firm in what you're standing
On business.
on your business. And I do really love this idea of going back to what I was just saying earlier of maybe I don't have capacity right now. And then maybe later on, as you grow and change or as you rest, you do. And you can open those doors back up, never closing yourself off forever unless you feel that that's the right choice for you. I just love this idea of keeping keeping yourself and your boundaries open and fluid, not in an unhealthy way, in a way that allows you to grow and change in your boundaries as well with you.
Thank you for submitting this question. I think it led to a lot of great discussion. We hope that, you know, some of the things that we shared can help.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Thank you. Bye. Visit the links in our bio to submit your questions on how to life
Or book a coaching session with us.